The following is a special presentation, and a live one too, of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Why, hi there, my name is Ron Chuckett. Welcome to the program for the 25th day of October 2023. It is time for Game 2 of our 2001 World Series. The Seattle Mariners 6-4 winners in Game 1 in a game that wasn't that close. Today, however, is going to be a different story because the Mariners were pushed to 7 games and their starting rotation was pretty much crushed in the process. None of their starters are ready to pitch Game 2. So it's John Halama who gets the unexpected call. He pitched, I believe, once in relief for Seattle. He should go about 90 pitches. The Astros are hungry to square this series at 1 game apiece. They will go with Roy Oswalt, who pitched great in his appearance against the Florida Marlins, and then not so well since then. But he's got a chance to move the series to Seattle in Game 3, all even at 1 apiece, and really, I think both sides would take that. So John Halama, an emergency starter in a World Series game, you never really want that, against Roy Oswalt. The Mariners trying to go home up 2-0. The Astros trying to split. It's time for baseball right here on Retro Sports Network. As Retro Sports Network presents the 2001 World Series. Today from Enron Field in Houston, Texas, it's Game 2 between the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. So how you doing? Go Astros, the call. So sorry, John, about the Phillies. Roy Oswalt making his third start, or his fourth start of these playoffs. He went Game 1 against Florida back in the LDS, struck out 11, pitched very well in his Game 1 appearance against the Cubs, but struggled in his last start on the 21st. He's on a full week's rest, 5 1/3 innings, 111 pitches, 6 hits, 5 runs, all earned. He's given up a home run in all 3 games that he has started. He walked 2 and struck out 4. So Oswalt, 19 2/3, 18 hits, 11 runs, all earned. He's given up 3 homers. He's walked 2 and struck out 22. Roy is 23, a fastball pitcher at 91 and a ground ball pitcher. This will be the lineup he will face. It'll be Ichiro leading off in right field for Seattle. Let me make sure that I'm not selected to play Seattle. Mark McLemore in left will bat second. John Olerud at first will go third. Brett Boone at second cleans up. David Bell at third, batting fifth. Carlos Guillen at short goes sixth. Mike Cameron in center will bat seventh. Dan Wilson behind the plate goes eighth. And Halama, the emergency starter for Seattle, should go about 90 pitches. He'll bat ninth. Defensively for Houston, same lineup as Game 1, except for Oswalt. Berkman in left, a 5 and a 5. Hidalgo a 7 and a 6 in center. Moises Alou a 2 and a 9 in right. Vinny Castilla is a 5 at third. Julio Lugo is a 7 at short. Craig Biggio a 3 at second. Jeff Bagwell a 6 at first. Ausmus a 10 and a 7 behind the plate. And Oswalt is a 7 on the mound with a 971 fielding percentage. John says appreciate it, not to slight it because the Phillies were the beneficiary, but I could bet the MLB will change the playoff format. Yeah, the ratings this year will be terrible. After this World Series is over, how you doing, Scotty? We will do the best record in the American League and the best record in the National League. It'll be the Orioles and the Braves after this World Series is completed. Ichiro is on a 12-game hitting streak, hitting .327 with an RBI, but he has scored 13 times. If you weren't with us for Game 1, the Mariners got up to a 6-0 lead, and the Astros chipped away late, but the Mariners have a one-game lead. Ichiro drops one down. Throw to first. Biggio is there, one out. Oh, the ratings have gone down for long. Well, 2016 was an anomaly because it was the Cubs. Mark McLemore, 279, no homers and 4 RBI in this postseason. Struck him out. An 0-2 fastball on the outside corner, 2 out. If you get a compelling series, I mean, if it's a sweep, the ratings will be horrible. But as it builds momentum, and if it's good baseball, I think people will watch. I honestly don't think that the format is going to change. Olerud at 319, 3 homers and 22 RBI. Having said that, this is my 24th postseason stream. And we didn't even do any wild card rounds. I don't know how RJL does it. Pitch to Olerud. There's a chopper third base side that will hook foul. And the count is 1-2. On top of everything else that goes on, I mean, tonight is the opening night of the NBA. I just don't know how you hold on to people's attention for that long. The 1-2. There's a fly ball, right center field. Hidalgo moving over will make the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs for Seattle in the first. No hits and no errors. Half an inning in the books, no score. So John Halama, who made 17 starts on the year, pitched in relief in 2 games in the American League Divisional Series. So he's on 16 days rest. And the MLS playoff starts tonight for the 4 of you who have Apple TV. Midlife crisis on a 24-month streak. Thanks for 33 months. Halama pitched in both of the 10-9 games. His last time out was a 10-9 Seattle win in New York. 2 1/3, 43 pitches, 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned, a homer and a strikeout. So 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned, and a homer with a strikeout. He's 29, fastball at 86, and a ground ball pitcher. The lineup he'll face here in game 2. Now you're broke. Well, you weren't paying for that 33 months all at once. It's hard to believe I've been doing this for 3 years on Twitch. Julio Lugo leads off at short for Houston. Craig Biggio at second will bat second. Jeff Bagwell at first hits third. Lance Berkman cleans up and left. Moises Alou on right will bat fifth. Richard Hidalgo. Neither is the M in Scotty says the M in MLS is not for marketing. You know, if you go to MLS.com, it's for realtors. Not for soccer. The M in MLB is not for marketing either. Hidalgo will bat 6th in center field. Vinny Castilla at third will go 7th. Osmus behind the plate bats 8th. And Oswald, who threw 12 pitches in his half of the first, will bat 9th. Defensively for Seattle, McLemore 6 3 in left. Cameron at 10 5 in center. Ichiro at 10 8 in right. David Bell is a 6 at third. Carlos Guillen a 3 at short. Brett Boone a 6 at second. John Olerud is a 6 at first. Dan Wilson a 7 and a 2 behind the plate. And Halama is an 8 with a .968 fielding percentage. I think you could probably say that most fan bases are indifferent to any other teams besides their own in baseball. So I'm really not sure outside of... it's a 33-month streak. Congratulations. Wow. So outside of the Yankees and maybe the Red Sox or the Dodgers, I'm not sure that there is any fan base large enough to not be indifferent to anyone else. Julio Lugo, by the way, had his hitting streak snapped at 10 games. Or 10 games. He's hitting .283 with 2 doubles, 2 triples, a homer, and 10 RBI. Halama deals. And there's a ground ball to first. Olerud underhands it to Halama. 1 out. Here's Biggio at .320. He has hit in every postseason game for Houston. 16 for 50 with 2 homers and 5 RBI. There's a fly ball, right center. Cameron going back to the hill, and that ball is long gone. Oh my goodness, he put that out there on the vegetation out there. Deep, deep in the nooks and crannies of the ballpark. And for the first time in this series, Houston leads it 1-0. Good way to start his 12-game hitting streak, or to extend that. That ball was long gone. The devil's advocate thing about the baseball playoffs is that you are having more teams in it that keep an interest. And teams aren't willing to sell as much. Here's Bagwell at .295, 3 homers and 10 RBI. People love or hate the Dodgers, the Cardinals, the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Astros. Many hate the Phillies and the Braves. You know, eventually they'll go to 32 teams and we'll have an 18 playoff that way, but you've got to keep interest in the middle of the year. Oh, you've been typing on your mobile app and it appears to be broken. Yep. Even if you're on your phone, I would suggest watching through your browser. The app is terrible. Bagwell hits a ground ball to third. Bell across the way for the out. So 2 out for Berkman. Lance has not hit all that well. .237, a homer, and 7 RBI. Ground ball to short. Carlos is there. Over to first. Glad the app works for you, Steeler fan, and that will retire the side. Astros, for the first time in the series, had the lead on the solo bomb by Craig Biggio to dead center field. We go to the second, 1-0 Houston. Well, again, everyone is playing under the same rules. I understand that you know, what makes the current format so different is that teams like the D-backs can competitively rebuild their bullpens in mid-July and still make the World Series. Well, the Nationals nearly did that in 2016. Yeah, we'll do the 2 best records in each league. The traditional World Series. But again, every postseason is a tournament. Scotty has found Bill Walton's supply of herbal essence. in kind of a drunken Foster Brooks type thing. I'm watching on the app. No problem here. Here's Boone at .283, homers and 7 RBI. Oswalt starts the second. Line drive to Bagwell, 1 out. A bit of levity. Here's David Bell. Bell at .224, homers and 12 RBI. Yeah, and see, I don't find that to be a problem. John says a team like the D-backs a couple years ago would have thrown in the towel and played out the string with this young team just to give them the experience instead of push them to a wild card. I think that's what Major League Baseball wants to do. Bernie, if the series goes deep, I don't think it'll set the record. If it's a sweep, Texas is a great story. I think that maybe it's one of the strangest stories ever. They are the first team ever to go to the World Series and never win a game at home. Pitch to Bell. There's a ground ball left side, base hit. I don't have a problem with Arizona either. Everyone played by the same rules. What do you think of Breslow becoming the GM? Carlos Guillen is 9 for 46, 196. Bell on first, 1 out. 1 on here in the second. Ground ball to Biggio. Over to Lugo for one. Julio, if he throws to first, it's late. It is, and it's a 4-6 fielder's choice, 2 out. I think teams will adjust. You have the two-sided coin is that it is a marathon, but I can tell you from my time covering the Nationals that Washington was not set up for the sprint. Mike Cameron is at 191, but he has 3 homers and 7 RBI. 2 out, Guillen on first. Cameron swings. There's a lace hit into left field. That's going to get around in the corner. Berkman is going to have to fish it out. Castilla's playing for a DH in Seattle. Guillen will round third and score. Cameron's into second, standing, and we're tied at 1. Bernie, baseball's biggest problem is its history finish. And the 87 Twins didn't make a lot of people happy either. But yet, they won every game. You play by the rules. Again, it's a tournament. Yeah, but again, on the other hand, you could have had the Yankees and the Dodgers, and that would have been the ratings for it too. There's a lot of positive stuff going on in baseball. Attendance was up. Ratings were up. Dan Wilson at 256. He had a big game 1. And he has 2 RBIs in the postseason. Struck him out. Oswalt got him. 1 run, however. The Mariners have tied this ball game up. 2 hits and no errors. After an inning and a half, it's Seattle 1, Houston 1. So Alou, Hidalgo, and Castilla. The Red Sox haven't been watchable in years, but yeah, Breslow will have to prove he could do the job. I wonder how much of, Bloom was just the wrong person for it. The Red Sox need to come up with a philosophy and stick to it. As in, you got the money. If you develop the talent, you keep it. Alou at 364, a home run and 7 RBI. There's a fly ball left field. McLemore in the corner will make the catch, 1 out. And again, you have so much going on now. You have all 4 sports now playing meaningful games as of tonight, along with everything else. You can say that watering down the football playoffs isn't a good idea either, but if you look at the ratings that they get for their games, it doesn't seem to be a problem. Hidalgo at 326, 2 homers and 8 RBI. Here's a fly ball, left center field. Cameron going way back there, and that ball is off the wall. That'll roll down the hill. Hidalgo's into second, standing, and the throw goes into third. So 1 on, 1 out for Castilla at 282, a homer and 6 RBI. The best thing Bertie says Breslow could do is sign Juan Soto, because I don't think Mario's still with us. It would make a statement. I think you've got to stop going to sign the big fish. Get all your little fish there and see what you got. Remember, we go 6 deep in the playoffs, and all you got to do is get in. But the Red Sox have been saddled with terrible contracts for a long, long time, and the Dodgers bailed them out once. Pitch to Castilla. Hit him. So Halama will hit him. Where'd he get nailed? That got hit him in the ribs. So first and second, 1 out for Ausmus. At 256, no homers and 4 RBI. So first and second, the Astros knocking on the door again here. And Ausmus draws the walk. So Halama, again, an emergency starter. Bases loaded, one out for Oswalt, who's going to have to swing here. He's 0 for 7 in these playoffs. Well, a run scored, a walk, and a strikeout. Don't line into a double play. Strikeout isn't the end of the world here. 1-1, bases loaded, bottom of the second. And he strikes out again. He didn't line into a double play. He swung on and missed the fastball. 2 out now for Lugo. Lugo is 0 for 1, opening 9 for Halama. 42 pitches, an inning and 2/3, 2 hits. A home run, a walk, and a strikeout. And Lugo, as I said, is 0 for 1. Scotty says there are more teams in the playoffs than there were in either league when I started watching baseball. Well, it was 4 when I was a kid. At some point, San Diego, Bernie's going to want to dump some salary. But I say let him learn. There's a ground ball to Olerud to the bag himself, and the Astros cannot score. So they'll leave him loaded. How about that? A Foster Brooks inning. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to third here in game 2, 1-1. So Halama, who's already thrown 46 pitches through 2 innings, is going to bat here. He had 1 real-life at-bat. He did not get on. And they're going to pinch hit right now. So this is going to be a Johnny Holstaff game. He got an opener in a World Series game in 2001. Al Martin, who was not on the playoff roster until the World Series. 240 in real life, 7 homers and 42 RBI. Be curious how Seattle handles this. I'm sure if you go and find the archives of newspapers from the spring of '69 about just the horrible shape of baseball, we had to lower the mound, and now there's playoffs, and it's the same argument. Pitch to Martin. There's a ground ball to third. Castilla has it. Throws to Bagwell. Baseball is about tradition. That's why us old guys are having trouble with this year's playoffs. It is better for the fans, and baseball needs to stop fantasizing about its past. It has a great future if the older fans let them have it. Ichiro is 0 for 1, opening 9 for Oswalt, 31 pitches, 2 1/3, 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. There's a fly ball to right. Alou is back and makes the catch, and there's 2 out. How you doing, Big Dave? Mark McLemore is 0 for 1 with the strikeout. Oswalt pitching well, and as we said, Seattle has pretty much used an opener here in game 2. Pitch to McLemore is ball 4. Seattle gets the DH back from the middle 3. Well, from your perspective, how do you know? You could live to be 100, Bernie. Olerud is 0 for 1. McLemore on first, 2 out. There's a ground ball to the mound, third base side. Oswalt throws to first, and that will retire the side. Ryan Franklin will get the call here in game 2. He's the next one out of the chute for Seattle. It's 1-1. Franklin pitched 3 times in the American League Championship Series, including 2 2/3 in that wild and wacky Game 7, which they won 9-8. He threw 53 pitches, allowed 4 hits, a run that was earned, and struck out 3. Over the Mariners' comeback, 11 innings, 11 hits, 6 runs all earned. He gave up a homer to the Yankees in the ALDS. He walked 3 and struck out 6. Franklin is 28. Curveball at 89, a fastball at 89, curveball pitcher, and a standard pitcher. You can complain all you want. It's just not going to do you any good. Either, I'm not saying this specifically about you, Bernie. You know, enjoy what they're trying to do or not, but complaining about it just doesn't do any good. Biggio, by the way, homered to deep, deep, deep right center. His first time up to tie the ball game. Franklin's offering is a ground ball to Boone over to Olerud for the out. Dave loves the baseball playoffs. The Rangers and D-backs have made some great moments this year. Attendance is up, interaction with fans is up, and the games have been great to watch. I wish that there were more games on over-the-air television on a local basis. I think if people were introduced to, didn't have to pay to watch the games, I think it would be better. There's Bagwell. He's 0 for 1. Ground ball to short. Guillen over to Olerud for the out. If there was a requirement, 2 out for Berkman, who's 0 for 1, that X amount of games for your local team had to be on free television, I think people would watch for. You get to this time of the year, you have teams that you're not familiar with, and no one knows who they are. And I think that, you know, you watch basketball, and that's a completely different style game, but yet, you know, the Celtics are poised for a big year. Yep, there's lots of free baseball on TV and on the internet, the Cape League and all that. I think they'll figure it out. Pitch to Berkman. There's a liner in the right field for a base hit. And Berkman's going for 2. Ichiro throws to Guillen, and Berkman is in there. A double. So 2 out for Alou, who's 0 for 1. Franklin deals, and there's a fly ball right center field. Cameron coming in, rides the Schwinn, and makes the catch to retire the side. This one's been pretty good. No runs, a hit, and no errors. We go to the 4th and a 1-1 tie. Brett Boone is 0 for 1. Bell and Guillen to follow. Someone asked me yesterday if I was having fun doing this, and, you know, it's not a bad replay. It hasn't been my favorite one. But the last couple of weeks between Seattle's crazy comebacks and the 3-way race that we had between the Marlins, the Phillies, and the Braves for the NL East spot, you know, have driven my interest. You know, I think one of the things, because there are so many ways to entertain yourself, pitch to Boone, who's 0 for 1, is a ground ball to Bagwell, is that it's just kind of, as Boone is out, it's just kind of hard to keep it all straight. Bell, by the way, singled, one of the 2 hits for Seattle. John loves the setup. It's what I wanted instead of the one-game play-in, but I seriously don't think MLB thought there'd be so many really good, great teams that would be so affected. Once you grimace at this World Series, think about the 73 Mets, 87 Twins. And for the fact that Texas hasn't won a game at home. We just had the second playoff series in Major League history where the road team won all 7 games. Yep, Scotty says when I'm in Seattle, most of the time I don't get home, don't even get the Mariner games, even with the streaming services. Similar situation in LA. Yep. Yeah, season replays are fun because you get involved in the storylines of your imaginary season. I don't know how many games I've done this year. We must be well over 100. Pitch to Bell. There's a fly ball, left field. Back goes Berkman, way back there. That ball is gone. into the Crawford boxes, and David Bell has just hit a major home run to make it 2-1 Seattle. This is the one I wasn't sure about if Seattle could even compete in, and here they are. They don't have Edgar Martinez because there's no DH. You're going with an opener, for goodness sakes. And yet, here in the fourth inning, it's 2-1 Seattle. I feel the icy chill of a frozen buggy whip against my backside. Here's Carlos Guillen. Carlos is 0 for 1. He reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the second. Up the middle for a base hit. Hidalgo will field it. So here's Mike Cameron. Again, you know, I think one of the reasons why I'm going to do Baltimore and Seattle is, Atlanta is, it'd be very curious to see what happens in if you go back to a traditional World Series matchup. Cameron doubled home Guillen in the second. So 1 out, 2-1 Seattle here, top of the fourth. Struck him out. That's 3 for Oswalt. Roy got him on a full count changeup in there at the knees. So here's Wilson. Dan is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Wilson hits a slow ground ball to Lugo. Julio snap throw to first. Bagwell is there, and that will retire the side. But the Mariners on the home run from Bell, his 5th of the postseason. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. Bottom of the fourth here in game 2. It's 2-1 Seattle. And if you weren't with us for game 1, it says Seattle beat Houston 6-4, which is true. But it really was a 6-1 blowout that Aaron Seeley pitched too long in. So the Mariners have a 1-0 lead and will go home. No worse than a split, and they get the DH back. They get Freddie Garcia back. And they get Joel Pinheiro back. Get to pay to watch everything in Vegas. San Diego, the 2L. Yeah. See, that, Bernie, I think, is the major problem. They should drop the blackout rule. If you choose to pay for the package, you should be able to watch what you want. Now, whether the majority of that is with your local team. So, all those claims, what's going to happen when the A's move? I mean, I can't watch the Red Sox because I don't have cable. Here's a doggo. He's got a double. He's 1 for 1. Franklin starts the inning with a fly ball left center field. Cameron is a-running, and he will get there. A web gem. He must have ran 40 yards, leapt up against the screen on the bullpens, and made a fantastic catch. Even the Astro fans begrudgingly have to applaud that. Cameron robbed Hidalgo of probably a triple. 1 out for Castilla, who was hit by a pitch. There's a fly ball left field. McLemore moving over, makes the catch. 2 out. The other thing with yes, you do. Be gracious. Be gracious, okay? 2 out for Ausmus, who walked his first time up. I mean, baseball's is set in the age of when we read newspapers and listened on the radio and all that. How you continue to make that relevant is a challenge. And even if baseball was well marketed, and it's not. I mean, again, Scotty said that the M in MLS did not stand for marketing. Well, I mean, the NHL, Major League Baseball, and MLS, none of them are their own best friends. Pitch to Ausmus. Brad swings a high ground ball again. throws it to Olerud. And after 4 here in game 2, it is Seattle 2, Oakland 1. Bernie, when he moved to L.A. in 1979, he paid $8,000 not to listen to people do Vin Scully impressions. Because why would you do that? Well, he put up a 12-foot satellite dish to steal the Red Sox signals. So let's see what they do with Ryan Franklin as we start the 5th. Again, Johnny Holstaff on the mound for Seattle. You got to think they're going to pinch hit for Franklin here. They do. It'll be Stan Javier, the other person that was brought up to start to play in the World Series because Seattle has no DH. Javier in the real has not played in the playoffs. 292, 4 homers, and 33 RBI. There's a base hit in the left center field. So the pinch hitters have done their job. And so here's Ichiro, who's 0 for 2. He's still on a 12-game hitting streak. I think the other thing, and you could talk about this with sports in general, it's not just baseball, is that everything is available at any time. How much of it is special at this point? Pitch to Ichiro. There's a ground ball. This might be 2. Biggio to Lugo for 1. Julio cannot throw out Ichiro. In fact, didn't even try. And it's a 4-6 fielder's choice, 1 out. For McLemore, who was walked and struck out. I didn't tell you that after 19 batters. Shame on me. Roy Oswalt has thrown 70 pitches through 4 1/3. 5 hits. The home run to Bell. He has walked 1 and struck out 3. There's a base hit into center field. And so Ichiro, how you doing, Forrest, is going to hold first and second, 1 out for Olerud, who is 0 for 2. Oswalt deals. Fly ball left field. Berkman in the corner. Lance will make the catch. Ichiro will hold at second. Glad you are well, Forrest. 2 out for Boone, who is 0 for 2. There's just such a glut of stuff to watch. And so, how much mystique is still there, even if you just went with the top 2 teams. Pitch to Boone. Struck him out. Oswalt gets out of it. Jeff Nelson, the next one to come in as Seattle goes Johnny Holstaff halfway home in game 2. It's Seattle 2, Houston 1. Just be careful for viruses on that website, Bernie. So, halfway home, here's how we got here. Craig Biggio, a monster shot to right center for Houston to make it 1-0 his third of the postseason, and he has a hit in all 12 of Houston's postseason games. Seattle, Mike Cameron with an RBI double in the second to tie the ball game. He scored Carlos Guillen, and then a few moments ago, David Bell, a solo homer, his 5th of the year, or 5th of the postseason, to make it 2-1 Seattle. Seattle did not really have a starter ready after all the craziness in games 6 and 7 of their American League Championship Series. So they went with the opener, John Halama, 2 innings, 2 hits, a run, the home run, and then Ryan Franklin has thrown the last 2. Roy Oswalt, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, all earned, a homer, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. How you doing, Mike from the truck? I missed some of the other message up there for the satellite dish. Did Bernie get a hold of some Klingon material at some point? Jeff Nelson making his 5th appearance in these playoffs. Pitched twice in the ALCS, went inning against Oakland 6 days ago. 29 pitches, a hit, a run, it was earned, and walked 2. So overall, 3 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 4 and struck out 5. Oswalt's only thrown 83 pitches, so I'm going to allow him to hit. 2-1 Seattle here as we start the bottom of the 5th. Struck him out. Nelson got him to chase an 0-2 fastball. Here's Lugo, who was 0 for 2. Got him. So Nelson's got a good morning and a good afternoon. A 1-2 fastball. Caught him looking at it. 2 out for Biggio. It was 1 for 2. His home run in the right center found parts of Minute Maid Park that no one knew existed. That ball was crushed. And Biggio gets hit. Now, we had the situation in the series against Oakland where it was plunky. And Biggio just kind of looks out at Nelson as he got nailed in the shoulder. So here's Bagwell, who was 0 for 2. Seattle and Oakland had brawlerama. Houston and Chicago had a bench-clearing brawl in their series. Pitch to Bagwell. Jeff ropes this one to left, foul. And the count is 1-2. So, to illustrate the point about a glut of sports, this is the Seattle Kraken's 3rd year. And I hope they got the lights fixed, Scotty. See the other night when they had to change ends every 10 minutes because the lights didn't work? Anyway, in the 3rd year for the Kraken, and the 3rd year the NHL has had 32 teams. Last night was the first time ever that every team in the league played. There were 16 hockey games last night to go along with Game 7 between Philadelphia and Arizona. And I'm sure that ESPN had a college football game on. Pitch to Bagwell. There's a fly ball, left center field. Again, Cameron and McLemore running, and that's going to run out of room. That is high off the wall. Biggio looks, he rounds 3rd, and we are tied at 2. So Bagwell with a 2-out double. And Biggio gets even for getting plunked as we are tied up. And the Orange Hankies are out again. 2 out for Berkman. Lance has a double. He's 1 for 2. There goes Bagwell. Popped up. Wilson takes off the mask to the screen, and he is going to touch the screen, so it's a ball and 2 strikes. And Nelson's can only go 1 inning. And he walked Berkman. And so let's see what Seattle does. Here's Moises Alou. He is 0 for 2. Nelson says he has him. Moises has a 9-game hitting streak. Seattle won Game 1, 6-4. Astros have tied Game 2 at 2. Wilson and Nelson have a word. Nelson's pitch. Struck him out. He ends up K-ing the side around the 2 base runners. However, Houston has tied this ball game. A run, a hit, no errors. We go to the 6th. It's 2-2. Yeah, like I said, John, the NHL is not known for their marketing prowess. Just ask Rogers. Only 1 or 2 games tonight. Yep. That building, Scotty says, always has had issues. You were at the Sonic game one night when the scoreboard caught fire. Well, don't imitate Comiskey Park and the leaky roof of the early days. Here's David Bell. David is 2 for 2. He has singled and hit a home run in the 4th that gave Seattle a 2-1 lead. Pitch to Bell. Struck him out. Oswald is fan 5. Curveball on an 0-2. So here's Guillen. Carlos is 1 for 2. A single and a run scored. I imagine, actually, probably not, because it's opening night for the NBA, unless TNT is doing some games tonight for hockey. Guillen swings a ground ball to second. Biggio has it, throws to first for the out. So 2 out for Mike Cameron. Cameron 1 for 2, a double, an RBI, and a strikeout. Now let's start a rumor Taylor Swift's about to buy a team, right? Oswalt deals. Base hit, left field, extra bases. Berkman's got to go get it. Cameron's got some wheels. Again, Castilla not great at third. Cameron slides in the bag, and he's got an easy double. So a 2-out double for Dan Wilson, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout tonight. Opening night for the Celtics. They did some refurbishing from last year's team. I got the Strat cards for last year's team. I didn't look at the Celtics yet. That Denver team is pretty good. Pitch to Wilson. Dan swings. That's into center. Lugo in very shallow center. In fact, he's not even on the grass. So John Sterling says that's an out. No runs, a hit, and no errors. We go to the bottom of the 6th here in game 2 and a 2-2 tie. So Hidalgo, Castilla, and Ausmus. And then Oswalt in the 4-hole. Hidalgo is 1 for 2. He's got himself a double. Nelson stays in the game, and Hidalgo draws the walk. Problem is, you don't really have any long relievers now. Here's Castilla, who's 0 for 1. Pitch from Nelson. Vinny strikes out, and now will come the nasty boy. So Norm Charlton, next out of the pen, making his 3rd appearance. He's 38 years old in 2001. Fastball at 90. And a ground ball pitcher. He pitched 1 inning in the ALCS. He threw 11 pitches, struck out a man, and allowed a hit. Ausmus is 0 for 1 with a walk. Hidalgo on first, 1 out. And if Seattle gets out of this with a win, man. Ausmus line drive again. Carlos makes the catch, throws to first. Did they get Hidalgo napping? They did. They doubled off Richard Hidalgo. Ooh, that whip feels cold. After 6, no runs, no hits, no errors, except for the base running blunder, and it's 2-2. So Norm Charlton is going to throw 1 pitch and get 2 out. Because there's no way in purgatory he's going to hit here. Charles Gibson. Will pinch hit. Charles is 0 for 1. He grounded into a double play in these playoffs. We lost half my viewers with that. Pitch to Gibson. Struck him out. So Oswalt trying to get through 7. 1 out here. 101 pitches, 27 batters, 6 1/3, 7 hits. A home run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. Ichiro is 0 for 3, trying to extend his hitting streak to 13. Oswalt's pitch. Got him! That's 7. So 2 out for McLemore. Mark is 1 for 2, a walk and a strikeout. And he got him. So that'll do it for Roy Oswalt. Stretch time 2-2. So we'll tell you about Arthur Rhodes. It's him and Sasaki in the pen. That's it. Goodness gracious, if this goes extra. Daryl Ward will pinch hit. Daryl is 2 for 7 on the playoffs with an RBI and has scored twice. Arthur has pitched some of the most critical innings for Seattle in these playoffs. He pitched an inning in Game 7 against Oakland, where he walked 2 and struck out 2. In the walk-off win against the Yankees in Game 5 on the 15th, he went 2 1/3 and struck out 4. Keeping it 2-2 until David Bell would win the series. So overall for Arthur, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Ward is 2 for 7 with an RBI. To short. Guillen over to Olerud. 1 out. Game 3 tomorrow at noon Eastern. Wade Miller will go for Houston, and they will have a DH. Julio Lugo is 0 for 3 with the strikeout. Rhodes deals, and Lugo rips this one into right center. That's an extra base hit. A rare bad play for Ichiro, who just doesn't know how to play it off that wall. I think it took a weird hop and then hit off one of the supports on the screen for the bullpen. That is the Mariners bullpen out there in right center. 1 out for Biggio, who had that monster home run in the first. 2-2 the score, bottom of the 7th. 1 out. Lugo on second, and Biggio hits a slow ground ball to third. Bell over to Olerud for the out, and Lugo goes to third. So the go-ahead run is 90 feet away, but there's 2 out for Bagwell. Jeff has a double. He's 1 for 3. He's also hit an RBI. That came in the 5th. Pitch from Rhodes. Runner goes. Ground ball to third. Bell across the way, and the Mariners are living the life of Riley out here. We've played 7 in Game 2. It's 2-2. And so all that, and Roy Oswalt won't even get a decision here. Nelson Cruz will come in to pitch. Cruz hasn't pitched in 5 days. Last pitched against the Cubs on the 23rd. Went 1 inning, allowed an earned run and a hit on 15 pitches and a strikeout. 5 2/3 for Cruz. 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. It'll be Olerud, Boone, and Bell here for Seattle in the 8th. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Mariners. They've left on 6. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Houston, and they've left on 7. Pitch to Olerud, who's 0 for 3, right back up the box. Cruz throws to first, 1 out. For Brett Boone, who's 0 for 3 with the strikeout. There's a fly ball to right. Alou, how do you do? 2 out. For David Bell, 2 for 3. David hit a home run to make it a 1-1 game. Cruz's pitch. That's ripped down to left field. That's extra bases. Berkman goes to grab it. Bell is going to dig for 2. Again, Castilla not a good third baseman. And Bell is into second. So he is the go-ahead run for Carlos Guillen, who's 1 for 3. Carlos has a single and a run scored. Pitch from Cruz. There goes Bell. Struck him out. How about that? A fastball got him looking on the inside corner. And Seattle is all for naught. No runs, a hit. They leave a runner on. Bottom of the 8th, 2-2. So Arthur Rhodes to face Berkman, Alou, and Hidalgo. Lance is 1 for 2, a double and a walk. Struck him out. Arthur got him to chase a 1-2 fastball. So here's Alou Moises 0 for 3 with the strikeout. 9-game hitting streak. Grounded foul first base side. Olerud will grab it. The count is full. And Rhodes is starting to tire. Pitch to Moises. Up the middle. That hit off the mound or hit off Rhodes' leg. Boone has it. Throws to first. And everybody's out. Rhodes is fine. That hit off his glove. He got the glove down in front of the shin. And it popped right near Brett Boone. So 2 out for Hidalgo, who was 1 for 2. He has doubled. In the 9th, it'll be Cameron Wilson. That sounds like a soap opera character's name, doesn't it? And the pitcher spot. And all Seattle has left is Sasaki. Hidalgo draws the walk. A 2-out walk for Vinny Castilla, who is 0 for 2 with the strikeout. So pins and needles time here in Houston. Pitch to Castilla. Vinny swings. That's into right center. Cameron should get there. He does, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. The Astros have left on 8. We go to the 9th here in game 2, 2-2. So Cameron Wilson and pitcher spot. Cameron is doubled twice. He is 2 for 3. Cruz starts the inning. Base hit past Biggio. And the go-ahead run is on. And nobody out for Dan Wilson, who is 0 for 3. Wagner loosening for the Astros to keep this a 2-2 game. There's a ground ball to Castilla. That might get 2. No, only play is to first. Cameron will take second. The throw to first, and Wilson is retired. So Cameron moves up to second. There is, again, absolutely no way that Arthur Rhodes is going to bat in this game. Ed Sprague will pinch hit. And that is Ed's father in that picture. And they will keep Cruz in. Sprague a reverse split, or much better against lefties and righties. So 1 on, 1 out. And you're not going to walk Sprague because that'll set up Ichiro. Sprague cannot bunt. He can, however, swing, and that's in the shallow right. Alou is there, and Moises makes the catch. Cameron goes back to second. So 1 on for Ichiro, who was looking to extend his hitting streak to 13. Now, you're saving Wagner. They're going to go with Dotel. And you're going to double switch. Because Castilla is going to be replaced by Mike Truby. Or Chris Truby. So Dotel goes in the 7 spot. Truby not as good of a fielder as Castilla, but Vinny has not played well in this series. And so now, do you walk Ichiro with 2 out? I'll give it a minute as I take a drink. I'm thinking about it. I would much rather, if I'm Houston, I'd much rather face Mark McLemore than Ichiro. And so that's, unless I hear otherwise, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk Ichiro here. Unless Steeler fan has something to say about that. And not hearing any objection, it is so ordered, and Ichiro is on first. So it'll be McLemore. They're going to take their chances here. 2 on, 2 out in a 2-2 game here in the ninth. McLemore is 1 for 3. He has also singled, walked, and struck out twice. Dotel, with everybody's orange hanky going, delivers, struck him out. It worked. Wow, how about that, gang? After 8.5, Mariners lead on 2. We go to the bottom of the ninth, 2-2. So they are out of pitchers now. Seattle, it is Sazaki's game. He has pitched in all the games that Seattle has won, pretty much. 6 saves. The first time it's not a save situation, although he didn't pitch all that well last night. In game 1, 2/3 of an inning, 14 pitches and a hit. So overall, Sasaki 5 2/3, 3 hits, a run, a home run against the Yankees way back when. He hasn't walked anybody, and he has struck out 7. So Ausmus Truby, remember we did the double switch because Dotel can pitch, and Lugo. Ausmus is 0 for 2 in game 2 with a walk. Sazaki's offering ground ball to second or short, Guillen over to first. 1 out. Yep, we got ours. This one's been a gem, hasn't it? So here's Chris Truby, who is 0 for 3 in his playoffs with a walk and a strikeout. Sasaki deals, and there's a high fly ball to right. Back goes Ichiro to the track, makes the catch, 2 out. That looked good off the bat, but it kind of hung in the still air here in Houston. 2 out for Lugo, who has a double and a strikeout. He's 1 for 4. Sasaki deals, and Lugo again, second verse, pretty much the same as the first. Ichiro had to go back, but it's a 1-2-3 ninth. We're going to extra innings here in game 2. It's Seattle 2, Houston 2. And so Dotel to face Olerud, Boone, and Bell. Octavio went 1/3 of an inning. He has a walk and a strikeout. Olerud is 0 for 4. And he walks. So the go-ahead run is on here in the 10th. So here's Brett Boone. Brett is 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Got him. 2-2 curveball, got him looking. So Dotel intentionally walked Ichiro and then walked Olerud. 1 out for Bell. Bell has a home run in this ball game, his 5th of the postseason. He draws the walk. So first and second now for Carlos Guillen, and 1 out here in the 10th. It'll be Biggio, Bagwell, and Berkman, the killer bees for Houston, in the bottom of the inning. Guillen 1 for 4, a single, a strikeout, and a run scored. First and second, draws the walk, and now they're loaded. So what do you do here? Advantage Houston against Mike Cameron, despite the fact he's 3 for 4. He has hit 2 doubles and an RBI. The outcome box says you stick with Dotel. But he has walked 3 here in the inning. Seattle doesn't have a hit. And it's a no-brainer. You got to go with Wagner here. So Billy Wagner trying to hold this to a 2-2 tie. Bases loaded, 1 out. Wagner, 6 games He pitched 4 times against the Cubs, including that 13th inning and that 13-7 clincher 5 days ago. 18 pitches, 2 hits, and 2 strikeouts. So Wagner, 7 innings, 5 hits. He's walked 2 and struck out 11. And with the off day in the series being tomorrow, it really doesn't matter how long he goes here. He's got a day off. Cameron, as we said, has doubled twice and singled. Wagner, a strikeout or a ground ball is what he wants. Pitch to Cameron. He walks home a run. Are you kidding me? The Mariners go up 3-2. And so here's Dan Wilson. He is 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Ground ball to Lugo. 1 batter too late. They're going to try for 2. Biggio for 1. And Wilson's going to beat out the throw. And it's 4-2 Seattle. And now Sasaki's got a bat. They don't have anybody left. Sasaki's got to stay in the game. He bows to Wagner as he strikes out. However, he has been given a 2-run lead. We go to the bottom of the 10th here in Game 2. The Astros need 2 to tie and 3 to win. I'm telling you, the Mariners have just find ways to win. Biggio is 1 for 3. He has a home run in this game. His 3rd of the playoffs. Base hit right field. Ichiro throws to second. Biggio with the slide. Guillen with the tag. No, sir. And just like that, the Astros have the tying run at the plate with nobody out. For Jeff Bagwell, who is 1 for 4 today. A double and an RBI. Sasaki deals and hit him. So with nobody out, Lance Berkman, who hit 34 homers on the real season, is the game-winning run at the plate. Sasaki on for his 2nd inning has a 2-run lead. Everybody's up for this one. The pitch to Berkman. Struck him out. An 0-2 fastball. I'm not sure what Berkman was looking for. 1 out for Moises Alou, who hit 27 on the real year. And 1 in the playoffs. 1 out. Alou the winning run. Biggio on second. Bagwell on first. Sasaki trying to pitch Seattle back home with a 2-game lead. Wilson and Sasaki have a word. Got him! 2 out! A 1-2 curveball. That was check swing, strike 3. Alou turns to the home plate umpire. And Stevie Wonder says everything is all right up tight. So last chance saloon for Houston. Hidalgo is 1 for 2 with a double. And 2 walks. Sasaki is tired. My goodness, what a ball game this has been. Sasaki, from the stretch, walked him. And now they are loaded. And they're going to bring in Joel Pinheiro. Pinheiro, the hero of Game 6, to get 1 out. And so Pinheiro's a righty. Who can hit a righty? Jose Vizcaino will be the pinch hitter. He is 2 for 5 in this playoff with an RBI and 2 singles. Pinheiro, the Game 6 hero for Seattle. He went 6 1/3. He did not allow a hit. In fact, he faced 20 batters and retired 19. including 4 strikeouts. He threw 94 pitches just to get Seattle into this World Series. So in these playoffs, 10 innings, a hit, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. The kid is 22 and has huevos the size of Mexico. 90-mile-an-hour fastball and a ground ball pitcher. Vizcaino, as we said, 2 for 5. 4-2 Seattle, 2 out, bottom of the 10th. Pinero on to get Vizcaino. From the wind. Struck him out, and the Mariners are going to go home with a 2-game lead. Oh, Miska, Muska, Mouseketeer. Wow. Wilson hangs onto it, makes the tag. You'd have lost a whole bunch of money in Vegas on this one, gang. 4 hours and 9 minutes. Seattle goes home, and they now have the DH the next 3. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. They left on 11. Houston, 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. And the Astros have got to be asking themselves, what do we do? How do we win a ball game? Seattle emptied out the pen. They went with 7 pitchers to go 10 innings. Sasaki gets the win. Pinero had minus stuff and gets the save. And so tomorrow, Game 3, the Mariners are halfway to the promised land. And I guarantee you they're going to have a starter tomorrow that can go past 2 innings. Until then, I'm Ron Zuckett. Thank you so much for watching. Yes, sir, may I have another? That buggy whip is cold, man. That buggy whip is cold. No Mariner pitcher faced more than 10 batters. We'll see you tomorrow for Game 3. So long, everybody.